Wednesday's Talking Reds. My name is Stewart, and this guy, eventually, is Rob Gutmann.
I'm late, aren't I?
They
don't know that, but you know that.
I mean, they don't know it yet, but I'm going to tell them because you are always late. But it's fun. It's part of the fun that we have.
The thing about me being late is I always message your head to say I'm late, very specifically.
Yes, which is always super helpful when it happens 5 minutes before. Anyway, let's get on with the show, shall we? It's not like there's not something happening tonight. I saw that. There's a game happening tonight. Liverpool playing Napoli in the Champions League at home.
I didn't mean it, mate.
I know, it's fine. You're just not cleverer than me, though. That's the whole thing. So there's a game happening tonight. Obviously, we're all excited about it. It's a chance for Liverpool to put this group to bed as group winners with a win. Obviously, it's a game that we did very well in the corresponding fixture last season. Rob, I want to talk to you a little bit about the difference between us and then and now, and then obviously the difference between our opponents. Let's start with us. Obviously, we did still lose away in Naples, but we do feel like we're a little bit more of a strong proposition all around these days.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ, we're European champions, no less. There's a little bit too much being made of Napoli being our kryptonite for my liking. It was a touch anomalous, I thought, the performance, or the result out there this season, wasn't it? We had enough to have won the game, a little bit of a break of the ball, and we'd have had the lead. They'd have been chasing the game, we might have pushed on. If they get a very scruffy, very late second goal.
I'm still not convinced about that penalty, by the way. The one against
No. Of course, actually, that's the opening goal, isn't it? The penalty. Yeah, it's a very, very dodgy penalty. One of the with many dodgy bits of luck we've had, which we're going to talk about on the show later today. I think maybe I would say this because I'm a Liverpool fan. Out of the 3 games we've played against them in the last 12 months, I think the stand-up game is the one at Anfield where we absolutely blitzed them. Unlucky to win by only 1-0. And it's Anfield again. To me, that's the marker.
Yeah, we should be good enough to win. However, we need to talk about what the hell is going on in Naples because they're probably really pleased to be out of Italy right now. I don't know how much you guys out there know about the situation currently going on with Napoli, but there's basically a civil war between the owners and the fans on one side, and then the players and to some extent the coaching staff on the other. They refuse to go on this retreat. Now they're having their wages frozen. They're all apparently being sold in either January or the end of the season. Klopp was very, very clean in his press conference to basically ignore all of that, throw it all out the window and say, look, we can't rely on them having their eye off the ball. These are still good players. If anything, it could galvanise them to come together. What are your feelings? I think
he's obviously exactly right. You what is the expression? You prepare for the worst, hope for the best, in terms of, it's the obvious cliche. It could go either way, couldn't it? As you said, they could be galvanised, they could be all over the show. It's our job just to be the better team, which we are anyway, put them on the back foot and test their mentality. And I suspect that's what we'll do. It does seem, I feel like, I don't think it's someone's been here before in terms of Italian teams having meltdowns. There was it Rome or somebody, another Italian Serie A team was having a meltdown last season at odds with, maybe it's Portugal. Maybe I'm just thinking.
The Sporting Lisbon. That was it. Yeah, that was mental. They all got attacked to the training ground. Didn't
that
they?
One, yes. Yeah. I think I'm lumping all foreign teams into one pot and generalising. Really good look. But all seriousness, yeah. Look, do you know what? I suppose if we're being totally honest, and Klopp can't say this, on balance, it cannot do our prospects any harm. If I said to you, would you rather them being in civil war, would you rather rewind to them being a happy, calm camp?
Yeah.
Civil war, please.
Yeah, that's true.
I think the odds are better on it having a positive impact for us if we're truthful about it.
They're also going to be missing their talismanic captain, Lorenzo Insigne, which throws up some interesting potential selection issues. They may well end up going with Elmas playing out left. They could swap Irving Lozano over. We could even see Fernando Llorente coming into the team. Let's talk about our team though. Are you expecting any changes? I know that last week you kind of threw up the idea of the fact that it might be hard to make all of our changes in Brighton, so we might be by a couple in this game, a couple in the Brighton game. What are you feeling now?
Well, I mean, one of the changes for Brighton is forced on us by Fabinho,
Yes.
There's no question about his position. I don't think Klopp would see this as one you rotate for, particularly because it's a tough challenge to Napoli. Are a good team. I think there's a natural inclination. There would be, for me, there'd be a natural inclination to swap Lovren out for Gomez, for two reasons, which we discussed on another show, which is Lovren's not. It's not a good idea to play Lovren back-to-back games. No. We've seen that in the past. Something will give eventually. We anticipate more pace from Napoli than we would have, say, again the Palace's front line, maybe. So you say Gomez might be a better fit. But then again, if Llorente's in there, maybe there's more of an aerial battle. Maybe he'll go, well, Lovren's fit for that purpose. Don't know, Mo. Those are the changes. I see the non-change in Fabinho. I see the Gomez change. Gini Wijnaldum could get swapped out just because he's got so many minutes in his legs because of the internationals, and I think we all expect Mo Salah to come back.
Yeah, I was going to say Mo Salah is the one for me that I'm looking forward to seeing. Klopp was pretty effusive in his press conference yesterday about how good he's been looking. Obviously, he did have the goal against Manchester City just before the break, so confidence-wise, he's going to be back up. Could this be the re-emergence of Super Mo, or am I getting a little bit too ahead of myself?
No, I mean, I think what we'd all take for the moment is I'm not expecting fireworks from Mo. I would just like to sense and hear that his ankle problems are behind him. I hope we're now at a point where we're taking no more risks on him, not asking him to play through any pain barriers, not managing his injury between games. That's the win I want, because then we can bed him down properly and for the big push to come. I think, interestingly enough, Mo hasn't played as much football as I think people intuitively think over the last, I'd say, calendar year, because I don't think he's featured in a game during any international breaks. And I'm going back to the March one last year, the 3 this year, although he was with his team, he didn't play. So he's only played, I think, 3 games in the AFCON, was it? Or
yeah, he played, because
they got knocked out early. So he played those 3 games. He's missed a couple of games for Liverpool now. We've not played him in the domestic cups. He's not played international games. I don't think he's actually been overplayed. For a superstar player who you want to play every single minute of every single game, I don't think he's been overplayed. So if he is behind, those ankle worries are behind him, then to answer your question, yeah, let's bed in and let's see the real Mo, because I think we will.
I mean, in terms of minutes played, probably the guy on the other side of the front 3 is probably a lot more dangerous. Sadio's played a lot more minutes, but
yes, exactly.
He just seems to be made of granite, and long may that continue. So obviously, as I said, it's a big game tonight at Anfield. Obviously, I should probably point out as well that if Salzburg don't beat Genk, then both teams qualify from this game. What are you expecting tonight?
I've got a feeling Salzburg won't beat Genk, actually. I wouldn't put money on it particularly, but I've got a feeling they won't. It's in Genk, and I think Genk will, isn't it? Yes, it is in Genk, because they beat Genk convincingly on their own ground. I think Genk will. I thought they showed some battling qualities against us, actually, even over the 2 games, but especially at Anfield. I don't think they're absolute crap, and I think they've got a chance at home. But not our business. We've got to do our job ourselves. The weird thing is, if Salzburg do beat Genk, and we only muster a draw, we are sweating on our own qualification, never mind being group winners in the last game.
It can still be.
And it's a realistic sweat as well, that, because you go to Salzburg and they're a bit of a mad team, and they're not beyond being able to beat us, or I suddenly go, shit, we're 3-0 down at half time, because they have some sort of, I don't know about them.
Yeah, I think if we have done our job and then that game ends up being played by the League Cup team, for example, then expect another 5-5 game, definitely. Now, for the final word on tonight's game, we're going to cross over to a clip from the preview show featuring some very handsome people.
This chance to get it done, though, is vital, isn't it? Because, we were talking on the free show earlier today about the schedule from here on in, and already you're seeing players play with injuries. Robertson, Mo nearly comes on at the weekend but was still struggling with his ankle. If we could just box it, and Salzburg was an opportunity for Curtis Jones and the boys to have a game or whatever, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'd be great, wouldn't it?
It would be really good, and there's something else for us all to look forward to from that perspective. But I think when we talk about what Klopp's going to be telling the boys before the game, for the most part, as I say, he's not going to be talking about the Napoli stuff. He normally likes to concentrate on just the game. But the schedule, it's hard to think that it's not going to be in the back of their minds. So the idea to be able to have a bit more breathing space, to be able to manage, as you say, the players who are injured over the course of the next month, is going to be really vital. So I think we might see that reflected in the team selection, in as much as he's saying that whatever we need to do, whoever we need to put out there to get this job done tonight, we're going to end it tonight. So I expect to see quite a strong team.
I also think the only option is a win for us in several respects. One, if we win, we put the group to bed and we've qualified and we have all that benefit of Salzburg, as we've said. But we don't win the group if we don't win. Well, I think it's unlikely because we'd have to go to Salzburg. It'd be the opposite situation in Salzburg. We'd have to go to Salzburg and find a way to win there. There's also the possibility if we don't win that we actually could be in danger going into the Salzburg game and being eliminated altogether. So there's a lot at stake quietly here. But I think it suits us because we like to play high octane. We like to play European ties. I think on the edge as though this is going to win you the European Cup. And that's how it felt last year against Napoli. It was a shit or bust game and we played at a very high level. And although there's the famous last second scare with Alisson making that save, in truth, Napoli were lucky not to have been put out of sight, I think, there.
Thank you to those wise, handsome fellas there. You'll be hearing more from that if you subscribe to us, and you can watch the full video, and trust me, there's loads of great stuff in there. So it's time for the question now. Obviously, every day we ask you to put a question to put to us in the comments, and yesterday I'm not going to lie, there wasn't a lot of good ones. There wasn't a lot of quality or quantity, but there was one.
From the viewers.
Yeah.
Nice one, guys.
Step it up, lads. I just call it as I say it, that's what I'm saying. But there was one I wanted to talk to you about. Scott McCauley asked about, are you concerned about clean sheets and the lack of them? And do you think that this run of games coming up is a perfect opportunity to start racking them up?
Two-part question there from Mr. McCauley. I'm not concerned, mainly because I think people are prone to forgetting we've been through quite a hefty, well, in terms of quality, quite a difficult stretch of fixtures, really. Between the international breaks, I think, or around them, we played Tottenham, we played Man United, we played Man City, we've had aways at places like Villa and Palace. We've played Champions League teams. These aren't gimmies. No. And I think with a little bit more luck, we might have seen Palace out and got a 1-0, but you've got to look at the interesting thing is, apart from, I think in the league, have we conceded 2 goals in a game yet, 10th? I don't think we have.
No, we haven't.
I think that's quite an interesting stat that nobody wants to talk about. Will we get them in the next few games? Well, I don't want to tempt fate and say we won't, but you look at the type of teams we're playing and you say there's an opportunity to do that. But I don't care as long as we if we win I'd rather win 5-1 than 2-0. You know what I mean? I'd rather win 5-1 than 3-0.
Or 5-2 if we're thinking back to that wonderful night against Roma. And that's a good actually example, because everyone was worried about the 2 in that game, wasn't it? And it turns out that we just needed to keep scoring. Yeah. And I think when you consider the way that this team plays nowadays, it was a little bit more previously whereby, if you look at the Champions League final, again, it was one of those, we were so confident in our defence that it was able to mean that we didn't have to go forwards as much. We're a slightly different team now, I think, looking at those kind of things. And even if you're an opponent and you do score, you're not getting the benefit from scoring that you did previously, because they're still thinking, oh, well, they're just going to score another one. And at the moment, that's what we've been doing. I feel if there's a sea change and something to work on, I think the defence does its job. I think we've been, is it slow out the blocks or not impatient enough for my liking in the first halves of games. We think to the Villa game, the Palace game, we were too patient, and like at Villa, it therefore invites. I think that there's an adage in football: if you survive the onslaught, you've then got a chance. Yeah. And I think we are allowing teams occasionally to survive the onslaught and then getting a goal kind of out of nowhere. And I think that's happened to us once or twice. I think it happened at Man United. I think it happened at Villa. And I think in a sense it happened at Palace, because at 1-0 we let them off the hook. So more feet on necks is what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, from minute 1.
I like the sound of that. I'm hoping we'll see that tonight in Napoli, because Champions League games, that tends to be what we get to see. Now, obviously, we made a little mention earlier onto the show that we're doing straight after this, the Unwrapped show, in which we're going to be discussing luck and how lucky are Liverpool and what it exactly means to be lucky as a football team. Now, I'm looking forward to this show a lot, because I really don't know where everyone's head's going to be with this. But
well, I was writing the agenda for it yesterday, and I had a bit of a back and forth with Neil Atkinson about this. He was of the mind, well, everyone's just going to say it's rubbish. We're not lucky. We're fantastic. But I think we can have an honest discussion and look at what I want to actually look at what people mean by luck in football and what role luck plays and how you react to it and all those sort of issues around luck. It should be fun.
It should be really fun. You've got that to look forward to. I also want to give one more shout out to the fact that us at the Anfield Wrap are nominated for an FSA award. We are nominated for Fan Media of the Year. If you go onto our website or go onto our Twitter page, or probably even coming across the screen right now, if Ash is up to his job, then you'll be able to find out exactly how to vote for us in that. There's a few other Anfield Wrap affiliates within the voting you can vote for as well, the likes of Rory Smith. So go on the website, give us some love. Hopefully we all get to dress up, go to another massive awards show and shut the place down. Just like Liverpool, we're going to shut Anfield down tonight and hopefully shut Napoli down. Rob, thank you very much.
My pleasure, Mo, as always.
Eventually. We'll see you next week.